Okay, so in this video, we're going to be making this block quote right here. So this is a better looking block quote. Obviously I'm using CSS to get this to look right. So, okay, so let's just get started here. So I have the ASAP Google font, just in case you want your code to look the exact same. Okay, so let's make a div. And I'm going to have a class called center element. These classes don't exist yet, but they will soon. And one called container. And everything's going to be inside here. So let's just make this a bit bigger. Okay, let's delete this. It's because when I click here, it's just the way I am. I'm very specific and nitpicky, but I want the cursor to be here, not down here. So if you go like that, now when you click anywhere, the cursor will be in the right spot. Before it wasn't like that. Oops. Right here, it's not like that, which makes you have to do it yourself, which is pretty annoying, but you just go like that. Okay, so if you were wondering why I was doing that, that's why I'm doing it. So h1, and let's just call this block quote. And it has a class of center text and a p tag right here. So I'm gonna have to go and grab some startup IMSM, and let's make a medium text, a medium sized paragraph. Put it right there. I'm gonna have 3 of them. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, it doesn't look really good. That's fine. Let's put a div here and a class of block quote and a class of center element as well. Let's put a block quote, and I do have the site, so there it is. You don't have to worry too much about getting that attribute to be perfect. It's not gonna change how anything looks. And this video isn't so much about HTML as it is about getting CSS to change how HTML looks. Okay, so let's put that quote right there. Let's see what this looks like. So it's indented a little bit. That's something that block quotes do automatically. Okay, and then here we could just copy these paragraphs. Alright, now let's look at it. Okay, so that doesn't look nearly as good as this. Okay, let's start styling it now. Let's go back up here. Okay, let's select the body and put that font on everything. So this is going to be a step in the right direction. Everything's going to look a little bit better. But there's still a bunch of styles that we need to do. So I have those classes that I was using called center element and center text. So this one just sets the margin to 0 and auto. Although a better way of doing this would actually just to put the margin left and margin right. That's just so that margin. That's just so if you have a margin top, nothing will get overwritten. So this is just going to affect the margin left and right. And then there's center text, which is, it's kind of like you just want to put that on everything you want to text align center. And I do this sometimes because in certain projects I'll have things that I'm text aligning center. And like if you want to text align center on H1, you might have your generic H1 rules, like you might change the size, you might change the font weight, you might turn it into an inline block, there's a bunch of things you'll do to it, and then you might also put the text align. And I think for those generic styles, it's easier and will end up in less lines of code in the end if you just make one class for it and then apply it to a class. Apply that class to an element, because then if you wanted to put it on other elements, like over here, this is being centered, and I just realized that I forgot the site tag. So let's put a p tag right here, and this one too is going to be center text. So if I didn't have a class called center text, I'd have to select the block quote and make it text align center. I have to select this p tag and center it, and then I'd also have to select this h1 and center it. So this just saves all that and just puts it in one line, rather than having an h1 with text align center, a p with text align center, then a block quote. So instead of having something like this, you just put the class. Obviously the h1 would have all these different rules here as well, and the p would too. But the point is, you could just remove all the text aligns and then put them in one centralized class like that. So just again, that's why I'm doing that. So p tag, and then inside the p tag will be a site tag. And I'll put Linus Torvalds. And then here, the creator of Linux. Okay, no, this looks good. Let's look at it here. Okay, so you see it's centered just like this up here. And this block quote is centered as well. If it wasn't, this text would be all the way at the front. Kind of like over here, this text on a new line is at the front of this paragraph. Okay, so now let's go back to the styling. And let's say div.container and width of 48% and min width is 900 pixels. The p tag, font size of 20 pixels, and a line height of 170%. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Okay, so it's already looking a lot better. Okay, just a couple more things that we have to do here, and that is the block quote class. And I could have just selected this as the element name, but I chose not to do that. Okay, the color is 7D. Let's look at this. So it changes the colors of everything inside. Okay, so now let's just select the block quote. Let's put padding top to 36 pixels. Remember that the padding will actually make the element bigger and not just keep elements from touching it. So margin would be just prevent elements from getting close to it, and the padding actually extends the top of the element a little bit bigger. So that's important for when I'm putting the border here. So this border extends a little bit above the text. So padding top, font size 22 pixels, and a line height of 140%. And right here, I should have a block quote specific. So margin top. It's 30 pixels. Margin bottom is 30 pixels. And width is 90%. And then the border left. So let's just look at what this, so let me put this here. 8 pixels, solid. So it's CD0F2B. Let's see what it looks like without the border. Okay, so it looks pretty much the same. The only difference is that this one has the border on the side. And you may prefer it without the border. You could style it however you want. So this is with the border. Let's look at it. Okay, and you could change the color of it as well. If you don't like that color, you could put it to red, maybe. I mean blue, it's already red. So I kind of prefer the red one. So this one looks a little bit different. And I think that's because I should have some padding on that paragraph. Blockquote P, padding bottom to 36 pixels, and this should look the exact same now, other than the color. The text is all a bit different because I didn't copy this lorem ipsum. But anyways, so in this video you learned how to make a block quote, how to style it, how to make it look a little bit better. And if you want more inspiration for different styles of block quotes, you could just search for them online. You could go, let's see, go here, block quote, not blockchain. And there's probably a bunch of stuff. So here is a block quote. This is a block quote. There's all these ones. I kind of like this font up here. I like that font. This one's pretty cool. So there's all different types of ways you can style a block quote. Okay, so that's it. I'll see you in the next video.